Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to podcast 10, season 3 of the Blue Collar Workers. I am, as always, your host, John, Sean, or Yucca, depends on who you're asking, and as always, this is your voice, your nation. As always, Chris is my ride or die. Kind of twist his words a little bit.
Literally, today I'm not going to lie, I am in the bright yellow with the smiley faces everywhere.
I noticed.
The people that go to theme parks know exactly where it's from. And we all must stand in shock and awe because of the fact he's got a shirt on.
Yep, I am looking a little bit on the tidier side for a change. A lot has happened. We took a week off. There were some technical issues, as you probably guessed.
No, the car was in the garage, that's why.
As I said, technical issues. We're working people, all right? So occasionally you're going to miss a week. And as always, it's been a pleasure bringing you back here to podcast 10. For me, I've got Trump accuses Stemmer of seeking to join the war after it's been won. I don't mean to be rude, but the orange man is off his fucking trolley if he thinks Iran is already finished. I've got Iran war, what happened on day 9 by the US-Israeli attacks. I've got, that's a big breakdown of what I've got then. I've also got withheld Epstein files with accusations against Trump's release in the Justice Department. See, because, many people think that he's started this war in Iran to deflect from the Epstein files. I thought it an opportunity to bring up the most recent news we've got of them. And then we don't need people that join the war after they've already won. Trump tells the UK it doesn't need its aircraft carriers. I know that's bollocks. Completely and absolute bollocks. And Sweeney would consider US military plans a ban for Patwick Airport. The First Minister of Scotland chucking his pennies in, involving Britain's involvement in the war in Iran. Over at Chris's side.
I've gone completely opposite direction. M&S joins the new £13 wage rule that comes into force from April.
Didn't have a choice, really.
No. Cost of charging EVs at home. Give it a little breakdown so you know exactly if you used to have an EV car, how much it would cost to run roughly.
They're not cheap. They're not that expensive, but they're not that cheap nowadays.
No. Oil and gas prices on the rise.
That's unavoidable. Literally unavoidable.
Rachel Reeves' new £91 billion promise.
You see, as many people give Rachel Reeves a stick of how much she's trying to fucking solve our problems, we do have tariffs that Trump is only just crashing out of now. So at some point, when the US Justice Department eventually tells Trump he has to pay them, and he does pay them back, the likelihood is there's going to be a wind rush from all of the digging that Rachel Reeves has done to get us out of that hole. Let's just hope they use it well.
And Andrew's exile could be the start when it comes to the monarchy shrinking.
Yeah, no, I think that has been long on the cards. The monarchy has been talking about shrinking the families for some time. It's something that's gone backwards and forwards between Parliament and the royal family for some time. Anyway, let's get on with it. There's no time like the fucking present. Trump accused Starmer of seeking to join the war after it's already won. I think the president is really kind of grasping at straws here. Iran isn't defeated, not even slightly. They're literally electing a new leader under much of the pageantry, barring the public announcement. So I think the president is kind of delusional in his assumptions. The US President Donald Trump has told the UK he does not need the aircraft carrier and accuses the Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer of seeking to join a war after we've already won it. That's bollocks. That's complete bollocks. The US and Israel continue to launch strikes on Iran. In his social media post, Trump said the UK was giving serious thought to sending 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East before saying the US does not need them. Downing Street has not responded. One of the UK's 2 aircraft carriers have been placed on advanced readiness, the Minister of Defence confirmed earlier on Saturday. That was Saturday the 7th of March. Trump comments came after the US bomber jets were seen landing in the UK and the US started using British bases for specific defensive operations. The United Kingdom, or once great ally, maybe the greatest of all time, is finally giving serious thought to sending 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East, Trump wrote on his Truth Social on Saturday. That's okay, Prime Minister Starmer. We don't need them any longer, but we will remember. We don't need people that join wars after we've already won. You haven't won. You haven't won. Okay? Your allies don't want to get dragged into another fucking great war. Okay? Iraq was a mess. You got elected on the points of that Iraq was a fucking mess. Me and Chris are remembering the protest to the Iraq war. It was a mess then, it's a mess now.
It's going to be even more of a bigger mess if you don't shut your mouth and get on with it.
I don't think he can. I think they've underestimated how much the cost of this war is going to bankrupt the American people. And it's not going to topple the Iranians. The regime is far too entrenched. Don't get me wrong, I'm not some kind of Iranian supporter. I'm not a supporter of the Ayatollah, the Shia system, A'udhu Billah, any of that. I'm really not. But I think the president is underestimating the decades that they've dug in. They've been digging in for decades. They've been looking for this conflict. They know it's coming. And they expect boots on the ground. And that's where shit's going to go fucking sideways.
They've been preparing for this since Iraq. So
yeah, and Iraq was 20 years ago. They've been literally working this. Because previously, for many of you who don't remember the history, Iraq was an ally of the West against Iran. And then they toppled Hussein. So Iran's response is, if they're going to knock over their own fucking allies, they're going to absolutely come for me. So they've had decades and decades to prepare for this conflict. And the reality is, it's coming. When he puts boots on the ground, I think it's going to be a massive, massive mistake.
That's only be throwing and going, Stanley, come to aircraft carriers, please.
That's what I'm saying. The idea that he doesn't need them is a joke. Earlier in the week, the Prime Minister told MPs, President Trump has expressed his disagreement with our decision not to get involved in the initial strikes, but it is my duty to judge what is in the British nation's interests. While Sirska, and I actually agree with the Prime Minister, we shouldn't be involved in a war in the Middle East anyway. We are not some great power like we used to be. This is bollocks. We're not the bit part for the Americans anymore. Right? The British do not want to be involved in more conflicts. We just don't. When Sir Keir Starmer was not responding directly to Trump's post, he earlier wrote in the Sunday Mirror externally that at the moment like this, the country needs seriousness, not political games. Whilst opposition parties seek to undermine Britain on the world stage, my Labour government is focused on protecting British people at home and abroad, he added. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch has accused the Prime Minister of being too afraid to make decisions and sitting on the fence over the conflict in the Middle East. This is the same woman who wants to drive us back into the Middle Eastern conflicts when nobody, not even that cunt Nigel Farage, wants to be back in the fucking Middle East. Because Farage knows how fucking unpopular it is with the public. Kemi Badenoch is out on a limb by herself. Completely out on a limb. Speaking at the Conservative Spring Conference on Saturday, she said, we are in this war whether Keir Starmer likes it or not. No, we're not. No, we're not. The back and forth between Trump and Sir Keir Starmer began after the UK initially refused to permit the US to use UK bases for joint offences with Israel against Iran. Sir Keir later approved defensive US actions against Iran's missile sites from RAF Fairford in Gloucestershire and Diego Garcia in the Indian Oceans, and said the UK government does not believe in regime changes from the skies. Because you'd have to fucking flatten Iran for that. And that makes 90 million refugees. That's not... Iraq was tiny compared. Iraq and Syria are tiny countries. Could you imagine what happens if they turned 90 million Iranians refugees? We are going to have real fucking refugee problems. Everyone talks about them now. They're not. They're just we're in the case of if Iran is overrun by America, we are going to have horrific levels of refugee problems. The whole of fucking Europe will. To the kind of reasoning, in my opinion, that would be that Israel has caused us enough harm that it could be considered a hostile action. That Britain should consider Israel a hostile actor. And we know Israel's a hostile actor. We absolutely know they are. They've tried to blow up fucking things in Qatar just recently, literally Saturday. There were Mossad agents caught in Qatar and in fucking Saudi Arabia committing acts of fucking sabotage and espionage. And they talk about Turkey, one of Europe's best fucking military allies in the Middle East, as Erdogan's some kind of threat. The threat is Israel. Let's be completely candid about this. The threat to the world and the safest means to stop immigration, for all of you chomping at the head red-headed fucking truck drivers out there screaming, there are no more migrants, stop fucking dropping bombs in the Middle East. It's not rocket science. If you are a socially isolationistic people, why are you provoking migration by causing more death from warfare? It is not that complicated to work out.
Really not.
The UK Prime Minister said the decision was made after the situation changed last Sunday, with the outrageous response becoming a threat to our people, our interests, and our allies. The crew of HMS Prince of Wales in Portsmouth has been told they must be ready to leave in 5 days. This has raised speculations the carrier may be deployed to the Mediterranean to help defend British interests threatened during the conflict in the Middle East. There is a key factor that Iran has also turned around and said that they're no longer attacking neighbouring countries except Israel and America. Because their initial response was to bomb everybody. Absolutely everybody. The Arabs, the Muslims, the Jews, the us, the West, everybody. Just fucking shoot everybody. And now that the Ayatollah's dead and the commanders are being reined in by the new regime command, whoever the fuck they are, we don't even know who that is at the moment. It might be the Ayatollah's son, which is about as nepotistic as you could possibly get.
So they're actually using some sort of common sense. Going, hang on. Don't go start pissing everybody else
No, they
off.
did. That's what they did. For the first 4 days, we were firing missiles at everyone.
No, but now they've turned around and go, hang on, if we piss everybody else off, as against the world, chances of us surviving, 0. Just pick the fight with who's already started and leave the rest out of it.
HMS Dragon, which is an air defence capacity, is being sent to the Mediterranean to bolster security around the base, but we will not be sent until next week because of welding. Remember, the British Navy is not what it used to be. It is not a shadow of the Falkland Navy. It is a whisper of the Falkland Navy. The British Navy is under 100 fucking ships. During the Falklands, we could launch in what was it? I think he said in 48 hours. The Lord Admiral said to Margaret Thatcher, their task force would be heading across the Atlantic to help in the Falklands when me and you were kids. And in one lifetime, the British Navy has shrunk like no one's business.
Cost cutting.
Yeah, too much of it. And this is all Tories' fault. This is Bennox and her party. The Conservatives have been murking our fucking Navy, Army and assets every single year for 14 years. There was about a 7-year gap during the Tory reign where they were basically refusing to even build any frigates. We have a fucking black hole of frigate initiations. No constructions, no lay work was given for any kind of defensive frigate. And we're a fucking island. Frigates are not attack vehicles like destroyers and cruisers and missile cruisers and submarines and fucking carriers. Frigates are, by their necessity, a defensive item. We are an island and we didn't build frigates for about 7 fucking years, which is a black hole in our defence systems. Nightmare. Absolute fucking nightmare. And just when the Middle East has a crisis, where we could probably use those frigates to defend Cyprus, which we failed to do. Cyprus has been bombed because of the fucking British and the absolute failure of Keir Starmer's defensive measures. Now, I agree with him not attacking initially in the business, but he should have had military defences inside there to support our country's people and our allies. Fucking Europe's being bombed. That's the fucking problem. Question on whether the US allies could do more to assist the US operations in Iran, Trump said, I couldn't care less. They can do whatever they want. The loyal ones are already in. Trump told journalists in the Oval Office earlier this week, loyal ones, the fuck are you talking about? Allies, loyal, what the fuck are you getting at? We're not your fucking vassals. You orange-haired cunt. And someone needs to start talking to Trump like that. I boggle my fucking brain that this wanker is allowed to talk to us like this. Trump told journalists in the Oval Office earlier this week he was not happy with the UK. Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you, Donald Trump. All right? We do shit what's in our interest, not yours. Over the initial decision to refuse to use the UK as a basis, which led to US planes flying many extra hours to carry out strikes last week. He also told reporters Sir Keir Starmer is no Winston Churchill. Well, we know that, numbnuts. But he's far better in foreign secretary than any we've had in recent years. And he has genuinely got this right. Not attacking Iran for regime change by the air is a justifiable position for me. Do you want to be involved in an Iranian attack?
No.
No. And Chris is more isolationistic than I am. Like he's like, fuck the world, just look after Britain. I'm fuck the world, look after Britain, but if something happens in Europe, we should pay attention. That's really the difference between us. But outside of Europe, fuck the world. I'm not that far from Chris's.
I'll trade with the rest of the world, but you start fucking my shit and sticking my
That's what I'm saying. Chris's response is fuck the world. From outside British waters, maybe Ireland, because we long history we've had with Ireland.
No, I'll protect Ireland.
Yeah. Britain and Ireland, but fuck the world outside of that. I'm like,
United Kingdom is fine, it's safe, it's within my bubble. Anyone else, fuck off.
like I said, that's Chris's opinion. Me, on the other hand, I'm the other way. I'm like, yeah, something's kicking off in Europe, because he's like, what's going on? Fuck this. So bombing Cyprus, we might actually didn't need to do something about that.
I'll tell you, is it going to affect me financially? Yes.
Right.
So good.
Yes. Bombing in Cyprus is going to affect us financially. Right. We better do something about that. I just think Trump is living in La La Land. I think the president is off his fucking tree.
If I was president or prime minister and Mr. Trump turns around and says, baby, I'll just slap him across the back of the head and go, you fuck off, you orange twat. I ain't starting shit and causing me issues.
The problem is that Trump is, I don't even know how he gets this. I think it is to do with the Epstein files. I think they're getting really close, really close to finding out.
Stammer,
Dirty
you need
bits.
to grow a pair of balls, which I know is exceptionally hard for you. Yeah. I just turn around to Trump and go, fucking pack it in, otherwise I'm going to drop the details of you.
I don't know if we
Epstein
know.
files.
I don't think we know.
Yeah, but just a simple threat will make him shit himself.
Jesus Christ. If Keir Starmer actually said that, fuck me, he might get assassinated.
I'd say that to Trump right in front of him, and you think you're assassinating me, he's going to be my bullet shield.
Oh, Jesus. US B-1 bombers were seen landing at RAF Fairford in Gloucestershire. Fuck, that's a little too close. That's a bit fucking close to us. Fairfield ain't far from where we live. Jesus.
If we get fucking nuked because you, Trump.
I'm coming back to haunt you, you cunt.
I'm coming back in a different life to end you.
For many months, Sir Keir has pointed out to his relationship with Trump as one of the biggest successes of his premiership. That's no longer the case. This is just the latest example of President Trump being openly critical towards the Prime Minister, and it's clearly he's still angry the UK blocked him from using British bases when first strikes gets around. Look, I'm going to make this abundantly clear. Trump is so fucking wildcat, you cannot trust him. People shouldn't have any more than a political relationship of at arm's length with Donald Trump until the fucking Democrats get into office and remove him, because he's going to. The Democrats are going to remove him. It's not an if, it's a when. Meanwhile, former Prime Minister Sir Tony Blair, who led the UK into an Iraq war, told a private event that the US was an indispensable cornerstone of the UK's security and that allies should show up regardless of who the current president is. You are a fucking war criminal! You don't get to talk to us anymore, you cunt! You should be in prison bars! Fucking irritating me quite considerably. Over to you, Chris, for your first point. As I'm
going on a slightly more positive now.
Yeah. I've got whole fucking sections of war to cover.
M&S joins Aldi and Lidl with the new £13 rule as it comes into force in April. A growing number of retailers have increased hourly wages to help workers navigate tough financial times. So far, both Aldi and Lidl have announced market-leading pay packets for thousands of employees. Now adding its name to the lengthening list is British High Street Strat Marks and Spencer. The firm's chief executive has revealed that 55,000 UK shop floor staff will enjoy a 6.4% boost kicking off next month in an inflation-beaten pay award. The hourly rate of the shop assistants will jump to the minimum of £13.41, meaning an extra £132 extra a month. Believe me, people, that goes way more longer than you think. And an extra £1,587 per year compared with 2025. That's car insurance, that is, for most people. These days.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Especially seeing as shop assistants usually tend to be on the younger side of things these days. Well, compared to us anyway. Meanwhile, customer assistants working within the M25 region will witness pay packets swell to £14.74. Hey, why do they get over £1 more? Oh yeah, because for some reason living in London is more expensive.
Breathing in London's expensive.
Step foot into London, you're in debt.
I don't mean I was at a funeral, Chris. Let's talk about that. London. My sister lost her vape. I said, no, I got it. 25 fucking quid to replace a simple vape.
Fuck. I thought...
And that's not even a high street cost. That's one of the back... Because where we live in London, where my family lives in London, that's not the main area of London. 25 fucking bar, mate. For one little vape. London is expensive.
God, I think like some of the vapes which are like £6-7 around here is fucking extortion. Number 20?
Yeah, 25. And then lunch was £15, but that was two of us. That was eating out.
£15, that ain't too bad.
In London.
No, I'd spend more.
And Chris, those were 2 small portions of chips and half a fish each.
Yeah, I could spend that just on myself at the local chippy. So.
Yeah. Well, the belly is showing, that's why.
Not as much as yours.
hey, I'm putting on more muscle mass, all right? Anyway, carry on.
If you say so.
Doctor says so, not me. I wouldn't know. I don't know how these macros work.
The news comes that annual UK CPI inflation rate dipped slightly from its earlier 3.4% registered in December. Figures from the Office of the National Statistics show the rate sat at 3% during January 2026, suggesting M&S Awards presents double the inflation rate. That's good. M&S has now cemented its place as the third highest paying retailer across the country, following this move, sitting just behind its budget. German supermarket rivals Aldi currently claims the top position, with its own pay increase also coming into force from the 1st of April. Aldi is apparently the best supermarket to go work for pay-wise.
Oh yeah. If you're just in the basic supermarket jobs, definitely.
Damn.
I mean, I think I don't know if
the discounted retailer announced last month it would boost wages for 28,000 shop workers to £13.50 nationwide and £14.85 inside the M25. The rates could then raise to £14.47 and £15.20 respectively, depending on how long the staff have been with the company.
Yeah.
So literally, if you're in the retail sector and you're looking for the highest paid retail job, it is literally Aldi, Lidl, and M&S.
Yeah, I can.
There's literally 15 pence an hour within the three.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Explains my wage.
Why you'll pay so little?
No, that's why I pay so high.
Oh, yeah, that's what you're calling it. Fair enough. I mean, from my point of view, I think the pay system is starting to square off, and the cost is starting to come down, but it's not a huge.
It's starting to ease the pressure.
Yeah. We're starting to feel less like a fucking hand to mouth at this point.
Mm-hmm.
As the living costs at home are just mad. The mad thing is, what I do, the work I do. The work I do here, my nephew is being paid as a scaffolder for the same amount in London.
I still don't get why London's so more expensive.
It's the housing costs, mate. Like London doesn't have they need to put a cap. As I said, do you know when they were talking about sorting out landlord leases and you had a fit? As I said to you, you need a set of bylaws just for London to deal with the inner bubble that is a massive cyst, and then national laws when it comes to housing, water, utilities. Severn Trent Waters has been poisoning with sewage into the UK for the last 20 years. They've been pressing the overflow button, which is only supposed to be done in emergencies. It's now been proven it was policy to press the overflow every time it came up on board.
For fuck's sake.
It's policy. Not emergency, it's policy to hit the overflow and then flood the rivers and the lakes around London with sewage. That's literally Severn Trent water.
That's what supplies our water around here, isn't it?
No, I might no Thames Water. Sorry, Thames Water, not Severn Trent. I apologise, Severn Trent. I'm talking about Thames. I'm talking about the debacle involving Thames Water, which is they've made a documentary. You know how fucking bad things have to be when documentaries.
Is that the reason why they were asking for our water? Because their water's so fucking shit.
Yeah, that's why there's bottled water over there. My family drink from bottled water. They don't drink from tap. My whole kin and Keith.
Because I was wondering why they was reopening the canal channels from us to London.
Yeah.
It's to give them fucking fresh water.
Yeah. Because that's how bad Thames Water is. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't been forced into administration by a Labour government. That's how fucking bad it is. Tories would never do it, but the Tories allowed it to be sold to the vampires, the vampire industry that gave birth to this. The previous owners of Thames Water. Give me a moment. I can't remember the name completely. What teams? Thames. Thames.
T-H.
Oh, it's T-H-E-M.
A-M.
There we go. Okay, I'm having a dumb moment and can't find it.
T-H-A-M-E-S.
A-M. But E. Shows how bad my fucking spelling is. No?
E-S. Not A-S.
He's enjoying this thing, right? Oh. No, the Austrian Lake Company. Marquis Group. The Marquis Group owned it between 2006 and 2017. Following Marquis's sales of its stake in 2017, ownership passed to a consortium of pension funds and sovereign wealth investors, including Omar and the Kuwait Investment Authority. The Thames Water is probably the single most horrific scandal on sewage into clear water we've had in the UK. And no one has been prosecuted yet. Fucking no one has been prosecuted. And I didn't want to go on a tangent on this, but it's really quite critical that there are entire families, my family included, that are drinking bottled water at home in London, in the capital, because there isn't a clean water source.
So think how, literally, when we got flooded,
yeah,
all those years ago, and obviously it killed the sewage plant, so it leaked out.
Yeah.
And they literally
we went mental.
They supplied everyone with bottled water, and they cleaned up that quick because we all went, "What the fuck are you playing at?"
Yeah. And that was ours, Severn Trent, which aren't as bad. They're bad. They're fucking lazy bastards. These waste companies, absolutely all of them are bad. But Severn Trent isn't like Thames Water is the boogeyman of the water companies.
A boogeyman.
No, they are. They're fucking useless. Like there's a literal documentary about it.
Yeah, I've heard nightmare stories of Thames Water.
Documentary on the BBC. Let's have a look. Inside the Crisis, a two-part BBC thing. It is the British biggest sewer. The whole fucking thing. It is debt-riddled water company. CEOs, Chris Wilson and staff managers, financial collapse, crumbling infrastructure and sewer pollution. Huge levels. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of tons of British sewage was poured into the Thames and around the waterworks around the country. Absolutely mental levels of conversations involving the Thames Water documentation. If you haven't seen it, if you don't realise how bad it is, please look it up. Because the more people who are aware about what these water companies are getting away with, the easier it will become for us to demand to have them nationalised. And they should be nationalised. The whole fucking lot of them, the entire utilities. Me and Chris have shared the same opinion on that. Anyway, I believe we should go back to you because I've been ranting about this for a bit now.
How much do EVs cost to charge at home? You might be surprised. One of the main considerations when deciding to switch to an EV is whether or not you can conveniently charge it at home. Different EVs charge at different speeds, as some charging stations have varying abilities, not to mention prices. The EV market is growing rapidly with the sales up by nearly 24% since last year. but there's still a lot to consider. However, once you've got to grips with EV charging, you'll probably wonder why you didn't change to an EV sooner. At home, it could be as simple as plugging in your vehicle with no more fuel smells or spilling petrol on your shoes. Best of all, it's the ability to have a full battery every morning cheaply thanks to charging at home. It is also worth highlighting right from the off how electric cars can be much more cheaper to run than the equivalent petrol or diesel car. Some EVs can also charge very quickly indeed, filling their batteries from 10 to 80% in under 20 minutes, providing they're plugged into a powerful charger. And while EVs charge more slowly at home, the costs are significantly lower. On the right tariff, you could pay less than £2 for every 100 miles you drive. In a petrol car, covering that mileage could cost you around 14 quid.
Yeah, no, but it's the outlay.
Yeah.
People don't realise that it's still very expensive to get an electrical car, isn't it?
Another key benefit of EVs to remember: if you plug your electric car in each night, the battery will be full every morning, and you can even use the app to set your car to warm or cool its interior so that it's just right temperature when you get in. Keen to know more? Keep reading our full guide to EV home charger cost, installation, and speed.
I mean, for me, I would like an electric vehicle. I would. But they don't have electric cars yet. And I'm a road hog. Chris will tell you, I'm on a boat, but I'm just dodging through traffic. It's a bit of an adrenaline junkie thing for me. But until they get electric motorbikes, I might get an electric car. You know, me and Chris making this podcast, I will probably get an electric car. They do sound more affordable. What's your opinion as a car driver?
We haven't got the network yet to fully support it.
But if they use it from home networking, you can get 300 miles on some of these EV cars.
We're struggling to power homes, let alone EV stick cars on it as well. Yeah.
So you think we need a grid upgrade first?
We need a grid upgrade, a massive grid upgrade. We would need to build several nuclear power stations.
Yeah, the micro ones, we're doing those now.
Plus also every single house have a solar panel attached to their roofs instead of it stuck on fields. Because I did notice there is a new EV solar panel field in Gloucester.
Oh Christ!
Right, I think if I remember correctly, it's next to the A38. I drove past it the other day. It's one of those ones. It is the direction we're going.
It's the right direction, but we don't have the infrastructure yet.
If anything, at the moment, I would say we need to take the baby step in between and have the hybrid.
Yeah. No, I agree with that again.
Yeah. So that we can then get the grid up to speed for fully electric. Because at the moment, as much as people say, we need to do it to get off petrol and everything else, we need the infrastructure. Without the infrastructure, everything will collapse faster than you can fucking say hello. And I'm sorry, I'm a good old-fashioned car person. I'd rather turn around, even if it was fully EV, I'll still turn around and drive a petrol fucking car. Because I like the sound of the fucking roar of the engine, so I don't give a shit.
The roar of the engine isn't the bigger thing, it's the cost of transport that's the issue for me. Anyway.
You would have the Tesla.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you now.
No, not a Tesla. No, I'd go for a German model.
You'd have
I have a German EV model, definitely.
You'd have the EV one. You'd see me pull up in the V8 fucking muscle car.
Until they make electric bikes, Chris, I'm still going to have a fucking Harley Davidson in the drive-through. Let's be fair, man.
World Cup with no ears.
I just tell them, look, put your little boy toy car away or I'll pull the Harley out, okay? Because that can roar alongside V8s.
I have the Shelby GT. What the fuck you on?
That was a car designer. Shelby, he was something.
That thing would rival your Harley.
Fuck yeah. He was an engineer beyond his time. Anyway, back to what we were doing. Iran war. What happened on day 9 of the US-Israel attack? The United States and Israel are continuing large-scale strikes on Iran, including an attack on an oil field on Saturday as the conflict has widened to include Gulf regions as well as Lebanon and Iraq. Iran has said the US will pay for waging war and continues its retaliatory strikes on Israel, US military assets in Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, despite Iran's President Mohammad Bagheri promising on Saturday to halt attacks on Gulf states so long as their territories were not used to attack Iran. Here's what things stand on day 9 of the war. In Iran, military attacks and rising casualties, the US and Israel have continued large-scale strikes in Iran and struck oil storage depots and refinery facilities for the first time in the country. Later on Saturday, local media captured footage of massive fires raging at the Shaheen oil depot on the outskirts of Tehran. The Israeli military claimed responsibility for striking fuel storages and related sites in alleged are affiliated with the Iranian armed forces. At least 1,300 people have been killed since the Israeli and US launched attacks on February 28th. US demands President Donald Trump continues with his demands for an unconditional surrender. He's not going to get one. The Iranians are not going to unconditionally surrender. He's smoking something. From Iran later on Saturday, he stated that the war would continue for a little while, but stressed that Washington was not looking to settle with Tehran. Maritime threats and movements. The Iranian military confirms that the Straits of Hormuz remains open, but it explicitly states that it would target any US or Israeli ship attempting to pass through. On Saturday, when asked by journalists about the lack of traffic through the Straits, Trump said it was the choice of the ships and claims that Washington had wiped out the Iranian Navy. No, you're not. They've got their speedboats. They've got hundreds of the fucking things. Their swarm tactics is the very answer to the US Armada. Relations with neighbouring President Mohammad Bagheri reiterated that Tehran wanted good relations with the brotherly neighbour countries, stating that the enemy is trying to create divisions. Pezeshkian said his remarks were misinterpreted by the enemy that seeks to sow division with neighbours. State TV responded on Sunday. His comments came as countries across the Gulf region reported drone strikes from Iran. Iran's new leadership, Ayatollah Mohammad Mahdi Mirabaghi, a member of the Iranian Assembly of Experts, hinted that a decision on a successor to the slain supreme leader, Ayatollah al-Khamenei, was near. In a video posted by the Fast news agency on Telegram, Mirabaghi said great efforts to determine the leadership have been made and that a decision and unanimous opinion has been reached. War crimes. Human Rights Watch said that attacks on the primary school in southern Iran that killed at least 160 people, many of them school children, should be investigated as a war crime. Al Jazeera investigators have also found that the targeting of school was likely deliberate, whilst the New York Times reported that the strike may have been carried out by the US. Intelligence reports, a report conducted by the US National Intelligence Council found that the large-scale US-led assault on Iran was unlikely to topple the country's government. No, it's not. And they've been building for this for 2 decades. Building for it, mate. Absolutely fucking building for it. They've been waiting since, because remember, they were very shocked. They were incredibly shocked when the Americans turned on Iraq and invaded Iraq. They were sat there watching very quietly. The Iranians did nothing whilst we toppled Saddam Hussein, who was the biggest enemy to the Iranians and the Shias at the time. We're looking for weapons of mass destruction. No, we were looking for oil. We were looking for oil money. And toppling the Iraqis gave us access to the oil. That's exactly what America wanted. And then flooded us with terrorists like ISIS and fucking Al-Qaeda, and all the problems we've suffered with migration have come from the destruction of Iraq and Syria. And now they're trying to repeat the same method in Iran. Oil trade. The war has rolled global markets and oil prices have hit multi-year highs. With the Straits of Hormuz effectively shut, in 1 week the war, Brent crude oil price climbed 27%. But petrol has climbed 27%.
Yeah, I can believe that.
The biggest weekly gain since COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. The reality is that Iran can keep this up longer than America's economical needs can. Because once Brent hits more than 70, I think it's 170 a barrel, the countries around, Western countries, will collapse. Because it will be too expensive for families to fill their cars. And then there will be real problems for Donald Trump when cities across America and Europe are rioting. And that's entirely plausible. You turn up at the petrol station, Chris, and you've got to pay £1,000 to fill your car. What are you going to do?
I'll leave my car and fucking drive.
£1,000, because that's entirely plausible. Car petrol.
With how much people are getting paid at the moment, if it costs £1,000 to fill up the car, or stay at home and live and find an alternative transport method to go to work, what do you think people are going to do?
But then that affects also our trucks, our deliveries. That affects our supply lines. It affects everything, absolutely everything.
Everything will become locally sourced.
Yeah, it would. The international trading system that these billionaires rely on collapses. If it cost a normal Briton £1,000 to fill up their car, and that's entirely plausible, depending on how long the Holmes Strait closes, because Iran is lobbing fucking missiles at anything and everything that moves, and no sensible fucking captain's going to fucking horn the Strait of Holmes with that going on.
That little boat just moved and just got absolutely bombarded and is no longer existent. I'm retreating.
Like I said, no one's leaving ports. No one's coming out of the port. So you've got to understand this is the reality we are living in. And petrol prices are going to go further than 27%. It's going to bite. It might be week 3 or 4 of the war, but it is going to bite. And the Iranians have been preparing for this for decades. Saudi Arabia said an attack in a Riyadh diplomatic quarter was foiled and several drones were downed in its airspace. Gulf Cooperative Council, the GCC, said Iran continued attacks against Bahrain and Kuwait are dangerous acts of aggression that threaten region security and stability. The bloc composed Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. Aviation and evacuation updates. Following significant regional airspace closure, flight cancellations, Qatar Hamad International Airport partially resumed air navigations via dedicated emergency routes. Qatar Airways operates specific flights from London, Paris, Madrid, Rome, Falklands and Baghdad, Bangkok and Doha on Sunday. Are you surprised everyone's now running? What happens when all the rich white people, and I don't even like saying that, fuck off out the Middle East and it turns into a firing range, and it continues to be a firing range? A'udhu to my brothers and sisters who are suffering out there right now. Really they are. But all the fucking influencers have fled. Good fucking riddance. I personally think that their presence in the Middle East is disgusting. Iranian strikes Israeli military targets. Much of their air defense system is still holding. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps described the latest attacks as the 27th wave of Operation True Promise. In the US, President Trump has said the war will continue for a little while, whilst that is going on. Unbelievably good for the US military. We can't tend to take President Trump at face value. Let's be fair, the man is a kind of convicted fucking liar, isn't he? He's prolific at it and lacks any kind of cognitive skill at maintaining a conversation.
What's actually preferred this war?
We don't know. We have no idea.
Is it another fucking Iraq? Where the reason will come out after they fucking
do the job. Donald Trump. Most people think Donald Trump is doing it to distract from Epstein.
Because his fucking name's in the file.
Oh, absolutely, his names are in the files. There's huge reductions in there. Reductions going backwards and forwards. I think the war, because the Israelis have wanted to go to war with Iran for years, for fucking decades, longer than me you've been alive.
I'm going to say, and now Trump's trying to divert the attention of the Epstein files. They're using it as a window.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's generally my take on what I've gathered from around the various news agencies about the literal ninth day of the conflict. Moving back over to Chris.
Rather ironically, it ties in nicely. Oil and gas prices rapidly rise, aimed escalating Iran conflict. Global oil prices have surged dramatically and show no signs of abating a week after US and Israel attacks on Iran escalated to full-blown war across the Middle East. The widespread conflict has also seen every nation in the region sustain damage from missiles or drone strikes directly impacting global energy supplies. An estimated 20 million barrels of oil per day are now stranded in the Persian Gulf as shipping vessels are unable to navigate safely through the Strait of Hormuz to the critical narrow waterway bordered by Iran. This extensive disruption and damage to vital oil and gas infrastructure throughout the Middle East has coincidentally led to a significant interruption in the supply of crude oil and natural gas. Oil prices surpassed $90 a barrel Friday, with the American crude oil set at £90.90, up 36% from a week ago and Brent, the international standard, climbing 27% over the course of the week to land at $92.69. Damn, I see this going exceptionally wrong. The fallout is racketeering up what consumers and businesses will pay for gasoline, diesel and jet fuel, with some drivers already feeling it at the pump. Yes. My local garage, it has gone up by at least 6p per litre for both.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Chris, the oil prices could breach £100 a barrel.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Within the week.
That's going to put everything up to like
It's going to hurt the pocket. It's going to horribly hurt the pocket.
It's crazy. It's not needed, especially at a time when people are already struggling, but not unexpected from all the turmoil that's going on, said Mark Durham, who is pumping gas in Middlebury, Vermont, Friday. I don't think there's been an end in sight to any Middle East conflict that has started by us. So the fact that they say there's going to be an end that quickly is not believable. And the Middle East is, a place that US is not going to solve. On Monday, President Trump said to the US expected its military operations against Iran to last 4 to 5 weeks, but has the capacity to go for longer.
It's going to go for longer.
And on Friday, Trump appeared to rule out talks with Iran absent its unconditional surrender.
They're not going to unconditionally surrender. He's smoking something.
The more news we get, the more it seems like it's going to last a really long time, said Alsla, head of macro oil and gas research at Everest. In the US, a gallon of regular gasoline rose to $3.32 on Friday, up 11% a week ago. According to the AAA Motor Club, diesel is selling for $4.33 a gallon Friday, up 15% from a week ago. The price shocks were felt even more heavily in Europe and Asia, markets that rely more heavily on energy supplies from the Middle East. Diesel prices doubled in Europe, and jet fuel prices rose close to 200% in Asia.
It's going to hit us too.
According to Claude, chief economist at Rasta energy prices climbed throughout the week as Iran launched a series of retaliatory attacks, including a drone strike on the US embassy in Saudi Arabia, and the conflict widened. Iran also hit a major refinery in Saudi Arabia and a liquefied natural gas facility in Qatar, halting flows of refined products and taking about 20% of the world's natural gas supply offline. 20%.
Yep. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Remember, I told you the Iranians weren't fucking around. They're shooting anything. They are shooting anything and anyone.
We keep seeing news of vessels being hit, or refineries or pump lines. So the list is very long. As a result, roughly 9 million barrels of oil per day are off the market because the facilities hit, or producers taking precautionary measures, he said. Right now, with all of this shut in, we are in a situation of extreme deficit.
Yep. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, Britain does not hold a huge stockpile of oil at any one time. We do not have huge storage tanks for oil during warfare. The British storage system is a fucking joke.
I am getting really sick of fucking America. And
oh, yeah, of course.
America trying to be the big bloody brother of everything and say, oh, we control everything. And then Israel being the freaking controlled little freaks trying to take control of something which technically doesn't belong to them.
Oh, the whole fucking area doesn't belong to them.
So...
the whole area doesn't belong to them. Remember, there's a Great Israel project. When you get a chance...
yeah, I've already read it.
Britain has 1.5 billion barrels of proven oil reserves.
That's not much.
Chris, I don't even know what our weekly consumption is, but it's not going to be close.
I say that's probably like a couple of weeks at best.
Consumption of oil.
UJ? What's UJ? Who the hell's UJ? Do you mean UK?
Shut up, cunt. Jesus, that's per day, Chris. We got 10 days worth of oil reserves. 10 days.
Not even 2 weeks.
10 days oil. We don't get an oil delivery. In 10 days, Britain runs out of oil. Ooh. Oh, my days.
That's when you start seeing true carnage at the pumps.
Fucking hell. So Britain's reserve, what we hold in reserve, is a little over 1.5 billion. We have... No, that's wrong. That's wrong. We consume 9.8 million barrels a week. So we've got about 10 weeks. 10 weeks worth of oil. That's not much. This war could last longer than 10 weeks. Fucking hell. Okay, looks like we're all walking to work, lads.
It's time to get the push bikes out.
The push bikes. Fucking, that's the country fucked, mate. Because it's not us that need to worry about the oil. It's the infrastructure involving getting the shops filled, getting the supermarkets filled, getting it across from Europe. Because remember, Britain, we import huge amounts of our food.
Your friggin' avocados, they ain't grown bloody year.
You're about. It's not just avocado. Most of our cabbages don't grow here.
Yeah, not surprised.
I think our chicken. Well, no, I think more.
No. The chicken, the poultry market.
No. 40% of our poultry comes from abroad, mate.
No, I was going to say, is it starting to grow on
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, starting, it won't anymore, mate. Not with these petrol problems. Petrol affects everything.
No, actually, no. It'll probably increase because of the fact of the case they come to local farmers to supply the local area.
True.
So...
It's going to get fucking messy really quickly. Without Epstein files with accusations against Trump released by Justice Department, the FBI documentary Summontory intervenes with women who made unsubstantial claims of sexual assault against Donald Trump have been released as part of the US Department of Justice's DOJ trove on Epstein files. Ding, ding, ding! Now we know where the war reason has gone in. Files by the FBI have been released about Donald Trump and he's gone off to war to avoid them. We're starting to see a pattern here, Chris. The relative followers reports that the documents were missing from the DOJ's database, prompting Democrats to accuse officers of a cover-up.
So where Israelis gone, we'll help you cover it up if you help us take out Iran.
Do you know what one of the biggest rumours is?
What?
Do you know who Baron Trump is, don't you?
Baron Trump.
That's Donald's youngest son.
Oh, yeah.
He's 17. How old is Donald's daughter? His favourite daughter?
I don't know, probably 14 or something, I don't know.
No, she's just over 37, 38, something like that.
Yeah.
These Epstein stuff was going on when she was 20. Ding, ding, ding. That's the rumour that's online. That's the rumour that's online.
His daughter was involved in it.
No, Daddy might have been fucking his daughter on Epstein Island.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's the rumour. Daddy might have been, remember, because he's known for saying if she wasn't my daughter, I would date her.
Oh,
that's a public clip about him saying that about his own daughter.
Oh, trust the fucking redneck fucking president to come along and fuck his own daughter.
And Baron's just the right age to be her son.
Oh, fuck no.
And I categorically state.
Oh, that's typical fucking American twisted shit you're on fucking right there, isn't it?
Absolutely. Go to war to avoid finding out that your baby.
Hang on, where was Trump born?
Oh, he was born in the 50s or something like that.
No, what county? Please don't tell me Texas.
I don't actually know where Donald Trump was born. I don't know because his mother's Scottish. We know that much. I don't actually know whereabouts in the US. Where was Donald Trump born? New York.
I was going to say, if he's from Texas.
No. Like I said, there's a rumour that his son, Baron, his real biological mother is his daughter.
So technically, it's his grandson.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I say rumoured that it could be his
grandson. completely rumoured. Let's go with that. It's completely rumoured. I am not making any accusations, but these accusations are possibly what triggered that mental old fucking nutcase to do this. But Jesus Christ. Anyway.
You do realise Baron's worth 50+ million, don't you?
Yeah, but his sisters and father are both daughter and. I can't wrap my head around some of this stuff. Yeah, that's one of the rumors. One of the rumors online about him.
God, just have this image of him going, "Yo, daddy's special girl."
Hey, but you've said that to your girlfriends. I don't know what you're saying. You don't get to
Actually, I've never said that. I've never mentioned anything regarding daddy to any of my girlfriends. Thank you very much. Even I'm like, that's a line I will not cross.
Thank you, Daddy.
I have turned around and said, don't you fucking ever say that if they've ever said that. I'm like, that is utterly wrong.
Wrong. But like I said, these are the rumours that are involving the Epstein Islands that circulate because Donald Trump has redacted so much of it. The DAG and it's mistaken withheld the files during its review because they had been incorrectly coded as duplicates, so they were saying. The memos described a series of interviews in 2019 with a woman who made uncorroborated claims against Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The president has consistently denied wrongdoing in relation to the late sex offender. According to one of these three memos, the unnamed woman told FBI agents during an interview that she was introduced to Trump by Epstein in 1980 when she was a teenager. That sounds about the right time period and age. Shit. The woman accused both men of sexually assaulting her while she was between 13 and 15. The FBI agents did not have further contact with the woman after the interview, according to the files. It is unclear whether Trump and Epstein knew each other during the time period that the woman's incident took place. In a statement responding to the newly published allegations, the White House said that they was completely baseless and backed by zero credible evidence. As we have said countless times, President Trump has been totally exonerated by the release of the Epstein files, Press Secretary Caroline Letter said. No, you have not. She added that the Justice Department under the previous Joe Biden administration had not brought charges against Trump based on the accusations because they knew President Trump and did absolutely nothing wrong. Trump is mentioned thousands of times in the files related to the Justice Department, including in emails and correspondence sent by Jeffrey Epstein himself to others. Trump has not been accused of any crime by Epstein survivors who have come forward so far. As well, the summaries of FBI's witness interviews, including those with unnamed women in 2019. The full batch of Epstein files also contains a list of allegations made against Trump by calling to the National Threat Operations Center tip line. The list includes numerous allegations of sexual abuse made against Trump, Epstein, and other high-profile figures. Many of these appear to be based on unverified tips, and often no supporting evidence is included. Like I said, the rumour about Barron being his special grandson.
He had his special daughter.
Because there's pictures online of Donald Trump in the 90s sitting with his 19, 20-year-old daughter on his lap. In that weird way. In that very, very... And he is quoted as saying, if she wasn't my daughter, I'd date her.
Why would you say that?
Yeah. Remember, ladies and gentlemen online, immigrants do the jobs no other person in America and Britain will do, including the immigrant wives of Donald Trump. Because no American woman would sit down and probably have kids with that man. Ba-bum, dish, ding. Because it's true. Let's be fair about this. He imported, they're literally, I don't think they're Russian, I think they're Ukrainian, his wives. His first and second wife, I think they were Ukrainian. Even his second wife, the current presidential wife. It's crazy. It's crazy how they are. You know, Donald Trump is probably one of the most nasty, incestuous motherfuckers to ever come into the White House, and he's mad as a Marsh hare. And I don't give a fuck if people are offended by that.
I'm sorry, but every time I look at Donald Trump, all I think is, you've been tangled.
You've been tangled. Jesus Christ. He is. And the problem being is, for one of the most powerful people in the world, he is extremely laughable. It's laughing stock moment of America's falling power that this man, and I have a suspicion he might be the last president in America, that he might do that much damage. Anyway, over to you, my boy.
Rachel Reeves
Oh, my
thinks
Lord.
Brits will love her £91 billion promise. Bear in mind, this is an article from the Daily Express, so it is extremely one-sided. But she's made a huge mistake. If I told Anthony Joshua that in 10 years' time my 9-year-old son would be able to beat him up, do you think he would be intimidated? Do you think I could use the threat of his future strength as a bargaining chip in a negotiation? Would it strike fear into the hearts of the heavyweight division and the promoters lining up at my door? I doubt it. So why does Rachel Reeves continue to believe that hearted promises of future investment in defence would have a similar effect?
Jesus, that's brutal.
That's evil. But
where'd you get that from? Telegraph?
no, it's not Telegraph. It's the Express.
Yeah, they're just being knifey. Yeah, okay. The defence industry has been hollowed out by the Conservatives, so the Express don't make that very clear. You need to make this clear. Remember,
I did say it's from the Express, and it is extremely one-sided.
And more importantly, for those people who listen to this and read that kind of newspaper, you've got to understand that the Tories hollowed out our defence. The 7 years we weren't building frigates, all Tory.
It is no secret that the Chancellor is not receptive to the warnings being given to her across the world. Whether it is the Defence Minister A.I. Carnes and the essay of Vladimir Putin or drones flying into the RF bases, Rachel Reeves continues to drag her heels on funding defence. Promises to spend 3% of the GDP in the next Parliament, which would up the defence budget by around 91 billion, do little to address the challenge of the present. With Khan's warning, we could find ourselves at war with Russia by the end of the decade. I'm sorry, but that's... Unless Russia somehow miraculously managed to beat Ukraine.
I think that's fear-mongering. I don't think Russia would... The only way Russia would launch a full-scale attack of the UK was if they genuinely thought that NATO wasn't able to defend itself. And I don't find that very...
I don't find that anything at all. So, in fact, I know for a fact if Russia turned around and actually managed to take hold of Ukraine and basically be on Poland's doorstep,
we would already be in a fight.
We'd already be in a fight because Poland would have fucking started it and Poland would be kicking Russia's ass.
Yeah. Let's be very fair. Russia is struggling to get across 2 provinces in Ukraine. And those are big provinces. They're bigger than Britain. Both those provinces are massive. Let's not sugarcoat how large those provinces are. But Ukraine is such a massive country that Russia is not going to swallow the whole of Ukraine. It's just not going to happen. I doubt Russia's going to get a deal that allows them to swallow the 2 provinces of Ukraine. I don't think Zelensky's going to give up because he can't because of the constitution. Mm-hmm. I think its reality is that this is fear-mongering. Yes, we need to build up our defence, but our defence was hollowed out by the Conservatives. Let us put that into perspective.
It should come as no surprise given that throughout the 2024 general election, when the geopolitical writing was on the wall and needed to be bolstered our armed forces rapidly, was clear enough for Stevie Wonder to see. You're making some bold statements here, dude.
I know.
They refused to commit to increase defence spending in the manifesto.
Well, let me pause you there for a moment. 2024, we are in 2026. Military spending does not affect us in 18 months. Okay? Where is our military from the 14 years of Tories express? That's a very straightforward question, yeah? Where is the British military that the Conservatives should have been proudly maintaining for us since, when did when did Rishi Sunak come in? 2017, 2018?
Yeah, roughly that.
Yeah. Where the fuck is our military from there? You cannot build a military in 2 years. Contrary to the fucking belief. Unless you militarise the entire British industry and basically get me and Chris down in the factories building bombers and fucking ships every fucking day, you're not getting anywhere. Okay? Express, we had a Conservative government. They hollowed our defences out. We haven't had frigates in 7 years. That's why we are here. There is a context that they are correct about not making military defending spending in 24. Yeah. But we are not. Let's put a big peg in that pin there, Express.
You're missing out half the info. They did the same in their first months in office with only the election of Donald Trump, pushing them to reluctantly commit to a partly 2.5% of GDP target for 2027. The pledge to increase this further in the 2030s, a time when polls suggest Labour will be firmly in the review mirror, is a stubborn, selfish attempt to achieve quick political wins in short term, in hope that the pursuit of national service can be kicked further down the road. Now, hang on. No, sorry, this is pissing me off. You can't turn around and say we need to rapidly build it when you're one of the right of the Conservatives, which stripped the fucking military bare.
Stripped it bare. Boned bare. Closing bases.
And then turn around and it's now whinging there's no fucking military. It's because you fucking ripped it fucking out.
Yeah. Where was your complaints expressed in 2019, 2017, 2018, 2020? COVID. Where was your complaint about our defence spending during COVID?
I can understand, obviously, you need to make sure that it's sustainable financially, but ripping it to bare bones and then complaining later down the line after you've handed the reins over, is basically saying, oh, you got to clean up my mess. Ha ha, I'm going to blame you for it. You're a fucking child.
Now, that's literally childish, and the British public are not that fucking dim. We've had 14 years of Conservatives, of right-wing Conservative policy that has absolutely fucked our defence systems. Labour is trying to fix a problem that is 14 years in the making. And I'm not a fan of Labour or Rachel Reeves. Let's be quite fair about this.
The Chancellor warned the public in advance of her spring statement this week that it will be boring. For once, a speech by Reeves was anything but. It was terrifying. We had a war in Europe and in the Middle East, RF bases under attack, and the Royal Navy vessels limping belatedly out of port.
Why are they limping? Tory spending.
Port with an estimated delivery time that would leave Hermes blushing.
Now, I get the savagery. I genuinely do from the Express, because they're dirty bastards. And the Express don't have a moral code to speak of. But let's not miss the opportunity, as me and Chris try to give you, as a neutral approach to this is. A, this is the Express. B, the Express is expressing an opinion that should have been expressed in 2020. 2024, 6 years ago.
Should have been expressed fucking ages ago. Should be a case
when the Conservatives were gutting our defences, relying solely on the West, America and that lot for protection, whilst Germany had nothing of a military spending, and even Germany, Poland is the only country that has actually successfully spent money defending itself at this point.
And rather ironically, it's the one place which has no illegal migration.
That's not in contemporary point there, Chris. Government spendings don't affect migration.
No, because they've done government spending and listened to their people.
True.
Yeah.
But they've always had a Russia problem. They like the psychology of the Poles. Remember, the Polish have been run over multiple times.
Yeah.
First World War, Second World War, Russia ruling them during the Cold War. They've got psychological reasons why they would not want a modern fucking occupation.
I can understand the fact, obviously, they got psychological issues, past trauma, shall we say, of being run over and everything else. But the fact is, the government has listened to its people. And it's giving the people what they wanted.
We should not have allowed our military to be gutted the way it was.
So, literally, the only thing I'm going to say that take from, obviously, Poland's lead, Poland's example, is the government should be listening to its people and acting on what the people want.
We don't want to be in a war, but we want to be able to defend ourselves on our bases.
Yeah. So it's a literary case of, instead of listening to every other fucking Tom, Dick and Harry, listen to your people. And we're saying, I don't want to be in a fucking war. You should be, if anything, you should be deterring the fucking stupid twat across the rest from orange fucking plonker from bloody getting in a fucking war. Because it's going to affect us by stinging our pockets.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, we're going to feel it. We are unquestionably going to feel this war. This war is going to cost everyone more money at the pump every time. And that's unavoidable. And there's no way we're going to be able to...
Prices hiked due to the Iraq war. And they haven't gone back down to the original like they were before.
No, we did drop below Iraq levels.
No, I mean it's even before
COVID. Yeah.
What? So I know for a fact before the Iraq war, our price per litre of petrol was below £1.
I'm going to test that. What was the price of petrol before the Iraq? Come on. War. Irish War, for fuck's sake.
AQ. IRAQ should do it.
IR. My keyboard is old.
AQ. Q.
I am.
There we go.
My keyboard's not listening. 75p
See?
per litre. The United States, that's p per litre, regarding gasoline average, so 1.50.
Or in the UK, it was around 75p to 77p per litre for fuel. In the US, in the States, it's £1.50, $1.59 per gallon. Yeah, and has it dropped to that price after the Iraq War? No.
We've had a fair few crises. We had COVID that's preventing that.
If anything, it's just gone up and up and up. With every crisis, every war, every crisis, it's just gone up.
There has been a dip. There was a dip.
Didn't drop below £1 though.
No, it didn't.
It's never dropped below.
But then that has something to do with our own. You're forgetting. Prior to the Iraq War, we still had a lot of our oil fields in the North Sea, so that is how we managed to offset our own prices. We have had our own oil fields in the North Sea. You've got to remember they've come offline during this time period, Chris.
Have they run out though?
I don't know if there's still. I think there is still oil in the North Sea. Is there oil in the North Sea? I'm pretty sure there is still oil up there. Yeah, there's still significant oil and gas in the North Sea, but we're not producing that much anymore. Output has fallen from 2024, and we've been shutting stations out there for some time.
Yeah, but that's since 2024.
Yeah,
but the price of fuel has not dropped back to original before Iraq War.
Yep. When was the Iraq War?
I can't remember now.
Because in 2006 we closed 4 of our largest petrol production facilities up there. So it's bang close to the Iraq War itself. We closed 4 of our North Sea petrol production facilities during that time period, Chris.
20th of March 2003.
So the Iraq War spiked it, and as it was bringing it down, our own production came down. Remember, America produces its own oil. We used to. Britain used to produce.
My point still stands.
Yeah.
Before the war, our prices hasn't dropped.
Of course. But then you're taking out the fact that we used to produce a lot of our own oil as well from the North Sea, which we should go back to. Yes, that's the problem, and licenses have also run out. The decline of the North Sea oil happened pretty much from the night. We started declining in the 1990s from those original oil wells. There's still plenty up there, but we haven't drilled any new oil wells. That's the point. There's stuff there that hasn't been drilled. I believe we're still on you, aren't we?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, where was I?
Arguing about oil.
You think that's it? No, it's done on that one. Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just to express fucking slandering Reeves on the plan when when the Conservatives decided to gut the defence system.
Yeah. Remember, we've had 14 years of Conservatives gutting our defence systems, and that is a very important position to hold on British society. The military has been gutted. When we circled back on oil conversations, Britain has not been drilling that much oil in the North Sea for some time, and that has an effect on our budget. Like if we were home producing our own oil, Chris, the cost of your petrol tank would be greatly offset from what's going to happen from this war. We're slaves now to imported oil because we don't produce that much at home. Sweeney would consider US military plans for ban for Patrick Airport. First Minister John Sweeney has said he would consider banning US military aircraft from using state-owned Patrick Airport if it was confirmed that they were involved in strikes in the Middle East. Sweeney has previously said he was concerned by the US and Israel's actions against Iran and did not believe in a confrontation with the international rule-based system. He told the BBC Lauren Kunnensberg he was seeking clarity from the UK government about the role of US planes using the airport. Pressured on possible ban, he said, "I would consider the base on evidence that provided to me." The Minister of Defence said the airport was not being used to launch military strikes. An MOD spokesperson said Prestwick is a civilian international airport owned by the Scottish government and is not being used by US to launch military strikes. I believe that because that could get them into legal loopholes. You know, even with Trump being the person he is, the military's not stupid. They're not going to land there when they can land in any one of the military bases we've got up and down the country that are still currently holding on. Just. At First Minister's questions on Thursday, the Scottish Greens had said 24 US military planes had landed at the airport in the weekend. Landing for refuelling is not the same as launching for fucking military bases. Get it out your head. The action against Iran representing a significant increase. Co-leader Ross Geary accused Sweeney of sitting on his hands and urging him to follow the examples of Spain by banning them. It was an absolute obvious what the latest US flights were being used. Yeah, they're going out there, but they're not bombing from there. They're not bombing from fucking Scotland. If they're going to bomb, they're going to bomb from England because England's shorter distance. There's like 200 miles. You don't spend 200 miles worth of petrol just to bomb from fucking Scotland because you can. You bomb from England because it's closer. So likelihood is they've probably landed at Patrick.
From Fairford.
Yeah, landed at Patrick, flown down to Fairford after resupplying because they've just crossed the Atlantic. And then from Fairford, they're launching, because that's an RAF base here in Gloucestershire, which is quite fucking scary for us as well. I think this is posturing. I think the Scottish Greens are posturing alongside the Scottish First Minister, and it's not doing any good, because they're not going to launch from a building, an international airport that's owned by the Scottish government. They're not, because they open themselves up to legal accusations. Anyway, that's me finished. Over to Chris.
Nice, lovely, interesting one from the iPaper.
Ooh.
Andrew's exile is the start to the monarchy can shrink to just William and his family.
I'm entirely thinking that's going to happen.
King Charles is open to a wider reform of the monarchy in the wake of the Andrew Epstein scandal. But conservative forces within the palace may delay significant change until the next reign. Royal sources have told the iPaper experts believe the number of working royals, currently 11, down from 15 a decade ago, could eventually fall as few as 4 or 5. The king has already shown a willingness to act in a way that his mother never did, removing Andrew from royal duties, which is the late queen's consistently refused to do. Couldn't.
It was her son.
Yeah. But whether he can overcome more traditional voices inside the palace, who seem to continually as the monarchy's defined purpose, remains uncertain. I think the change will come, one royal says, but we may have to wait until William is king. The pressure for change centres on calls for fewer working royals, fewer family members with titles living in subsidised royal residencies, fewer staff and greater transparency.
What's your thoughts?
It's inevitable.
Yeah, it's inevitable. Do you think it'll happen in our lifetime? I probably will actually, because Charlie's not that young though, is he? Yeah. The king isn't that young.
I reckon it will.
Because the Queen held on for a long time.
Yeah. No, by looks for it, I reckon Prince Charles King Charles will.
Prince, we're showing our age now, aren't we?
We're showing our age, yeah.
Because he was Prince for so long. Yeah. That's quite normal in Britain.
King Charles is now in power. He's going to start putting that paper trail down.
Yeah, I think that's entirely plausible.
And then it'll be a case of either just before he goes, he'll turn around and go, and he'll gut half the staff, half the working royals, and then.
To be fair, the working royals not that many now.
No, only it's at 11. So to drop it down to 4 or 5 is literally cutting it in half. Which I can understand because of the fact at the moment where every penny that's been spent has been watched.
The problem being is people don't realise that the royal family earn a considerable amount of money from tourism. There is a huge amount of tourist money that comes in. They are one of the last monarchies. The Americans, as a people, love the idea of coming to see Britain for its monarchy. There is a lot of monarchy.
That could be the reason why it drops, but from 11 to 5.
Yeah.
Because the fact that they'll be solely relied on tourism.
But to be fair, the royal family are a net provider. Remember, Tony Blair was almost a borderline Republican, and he had this conversation, and he was rather famous for saying, even if I relied on my more Republican side of my blood, and that's just Tony Blair having this conversation. He said, my apologies, the royals are a net benefit in terms of tourism, in terms of prestige. Remember, Donald Trump loved visiting them. As crazy as that motherfucker is, he loved doing that. And that's an American thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing, that's what I mean. It will turn into more a case of everything in the royal family would be subsidised by the tourism side rather than the public side.
But then you've got to understand the royal family own a shitload of land. And they lease that back to the government.
That's another source of income.
Like I said, they've got their own income. The royal family are not poor, not by any stretch of the imagination. And the state doesn't support them as many as the Republicans in the country say. And the Republicans are not as many as people think they are. The apathetical of Britain is one of the reasons why we still have a royal family. There's no, other than the Epstein shit with Andrew, there's no real reason at the moment I see for us to get rid of the royal family.
I think if when they eventually do it, because it's going to happen, it'll be a case of the fact we need to rein it in, we need to half it. In fact, we've had enough of this shit with Andrew. We don't want any more further shit. We need to make sure we're stabilising ourselves with minimal drain on the public. And they'll just rein it in.
Yeah.
And I think that's just where the ones which have been living off the public and feel, I'm sorry, entitled to it, will kick off.
Yeah. I think that's entirely possible.
But I reckon it will happen.
Oh, yeah.
I reckon it'll happen before in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Easily.
When you're old and decrepit instead of just being decrepit.
I'm not decrepit now.
The cogs are whirling. He's insulting me again.
I've been up since 5 a.m, so you can fuck off.
I believe that's you done, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah, and that's us done. And thank you for everyone who's got to the end of the middle of our third season, podcast 10. As always, I'm John, Sean, or Yaka, depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris, hope you have a smashing day, and please keep an eye out for the fact we are arranging a special.
Oh yes, special time. We haven't had a conversation about it. We have another special guest that we're going to be seeing probably about April.
End of April.
Her name, we're not going to go into too much detail at the moment because I don't want to spoil it, but we are talking to someone who knows a lot about money. And she's going to give us a general advise us on how money is governed, how money moves around the country, what money wounds are. Some of you might know of a correspondence between myself and her. We're kind of looking forward to it. It's going to be in the city. It's going to be in the capital. I'm going to travel back to London again. London twice in 1 year. What the fuck am I doing? Admittedly, one of them was a funeral. I had to go to that. I didn't have a choice. And this is the Bill Brand.
Yeah.
Oi, no dying on me. Right? No dying, you cunt.
That's got a cough.
Anyway, as always,
it's because you've caused me to be shot at.
We're not going to Peckham. Don't worry. All right, nobody I know outside of Peckham is going to shoot you. As always, I'm John, Sean, or Yaka, depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris, hope you have a smashing day.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.